What's up, y'all? Back with another video. So this one right here was requested. This one is called The Reference Behind Rebrianne. For those that don't know who Rebrianne is, she's the character in Dragon Ball Super and right to the Tournament of Power Saga. She's from Universe 2, and she shows those team that's like Sailor Moon, like they like like the like Fight with Love and all that. Those characters they like fought with Goku, Vegeta, and in the androids in the Torment Saga, and it was really lit. And I think, if I remember correctly, they got eliminated by 17, I think, because I remember 17 was whooping their asses like all of them at the same time. So I think 17 like eliminated all of them. I assume. If I remember correctly. But yeah, so this one right here versus behind Rebrianne, I guess it's like this is gonna show how Rebrianne. I guess like she like the character like based on, I guess, like from she could be like a comparison to other anime shows that's like her, I guess, like Sailor Moon or other animes that's similar to that. But without further ado, let's hop on to. Let's watch this.
Oh, Rebrianne has been eliminated from the Tournament of Power in Dragon Ball Super. One thing that's very clear about her character is that it's an obvious parody on the magical girl genre. But how inspired is she? How many references to magical girls are there in her character, and how specific do those references go?
Don't they like Sailor Moon?
Prior knowledge of magical girls to understand her character. As someone who has been watching magical girl anime for even longer than Dragon Ball, I think it's a
I don't think I ever heard that one.
Answer.
Yeah, transformation
sequence. The genre is the transformation sequence.
There we go, Sailor Moon.
A piece of animation whereupon the character changes from a normal girl to a magical girl. These are generally known for two things. One, for being
in that anime show that I was recently react to
series, and
Precaution.
Two, for being quite long. There's an actual reason as to why magical girl transformations are so long and reused so often. And that's because one of their purposes is to save on animation. You don't have to draw as much in the episode if about 2 minutes of it is already allocated for previously made stock footage. It's the same reason as to why fights in Dragon Ball Z would often loop the same animations of punches and kicks for as long as needed. It relieves the work of the animators and allows them to put more time into the moments that really matter. But this common trope often became the butt of jokes, with many fans wondering why the villains would realistically just sit there and let the heroes transform if it took so long.
Maybe they want a challenge. I guess because they want like a real challenge, I guess.
With Android 17 actually
that's how Goku's do.
Attacking Brienne and Co. during their transformation, realizing that they'd be wide open. While this idea isn't anything new,
oh yeah, I remember that part. That was funny.
The genre itself has often poked fun of it. It is a moment where the difference in genre conventions are specifically used for comedy's sake.
Yeah, I remember 17 to their transformation. He like kicked one of them.
Rebrianne is a magical girl.
And one of them got pissed.
She doesn't exactly fight with magic. Instead, she...
yeah, one of them got pissed and say, "Hey, what are you doing? You're supposed to wait for us to finish transform." That shit was funny.
It's a combination of special attacks and physical fighting. Which
but yeah, that was wide open with transformation.
For that kind of character. So the question is, within the genre, do magical girls actually punch people? The answer is
actually
not normally, but there are some notable exceptions. Conventionally, most magical girls don't properly fight outside of using their specific...
they mostly don't. They just use their weapons or...
They do actually engage in physical fights as well as that. Rebrianne's fighting style is more likely than not a nod to that franchise. While the style of fighting in Pretty Cure depends on the season and the people behind it, between the physical fights, unnamed magical attacks, and magical attacks that sound like they're being named on the spot, Rebrianne wouldn't be out of place as a character in Happiness Charge Pretty Cure, where the characters have a multitude of different attacks and forms they can use depending on the situation. As an example, one character can do everything from fly to shooting beams out of their eyes to materializing an energy sword if they think that could be useful. Happiness Charge also features the food-loving Pure Honey, whose voice might sound quite familiar. Yes, it's the same voice actor as Rebrianne, Rena.
Oh, really?
So
I didn't know that.
Rebrianne is voiced by someone who has voiced an actual magical girl. And
what about English dubbing? Who's she voiced by?
Perhaps intentional. It's worth noting that the Pretty Cure franchise has been going on for over 10 years, with a new voice cast used almost every year. As the franchise goes on, there's a greater and greater chance that any prolific Japanese voice actress has played a magical girl at some point. As an example, both Cauliflower and Kale's voice actresses have also voiced Pretty Cures throughout the years.
Oh, really?
So the voice choice might have actually been a coincidence.
Huh.
Rebrianne gets two
Makes
further
sense.
power-ups after she transforms. Both of these are activated by having members of Universe 2 send their love to her using strange pink glow stick looking objects. Without any context, this seems kind of odd and out of place. But one thing that people may not know is that these are also referencing a magical girl convention, specifically in the Pretty Cure movies. The Pretty Cure franchise currently produces about 2 theatrical movies a year. And for about the last 10 years, an integral part of these movies has been the Miracle Lights. The Miracle Lights are small, cheap,
Miracle Lights
sticks with a small light on them that audiences are given in movie theaters when seeing a Pretty Cure movie.
Really?
When the movie starts, the audience is told that when the Pretty Cure are in a pinch, they should cheer them on by waving the light to make a miracle.
I didn't know they do that in the movie theater.
That's why
I've
they're
seen
called
anime
miracles.
movies like that.
They're basically used to try and make the movie feel more interactive. And if it sounds childish, it's because these movies are actually...
They kind of remind me when I saw that Dragon Ball Super, the Broly movie, in the theaters, and always saw the person who had the Goku, cosplaying, the Goku costume. He was cosplaying Goku. It was Super Saiyan Blue. It looked tough. It really looked tough. But yeah, man, good times. Good times in the movie theaters before COVID.
aimed at children. But this convention is almost exactly the same as how Universe 2 gives Rebrianne her power-ups. It's quite possibly the most specific and yet obscure reference in all of her episodes. And Rebrianne's power-ups themselves also follow magical girl conventions. The first power-up allows her to grow wings, which is a common feature of the power-ups often granted in the Pretty Cure movies. The second power-up turns her into a giant glowing woman, which, perhaps surprisingly,
Yeah, that's weird.
is also something that has happened in magical girl shows before. Usually it's the final attack
Why they made her chubby
by all
for?
the characters combining their powers that defeats the main villain. In this form, Rebrianne's outfit even becomes more detailed, something that usually happens in most magical girl power-ups. That's not to say everything
It's kind of funny, yeah. When she transformed from beauty into a big chubby blue creature. It's just why they make the transformation chubby for Majin Buu? That was really weird to me, but yep, it is what it is.
Is a reference to Pretty Cure. The tendency of Rebrianne to make speeches about punishing opponents in the name of love, as well as the male characters of Universe 2 acting like knights to try and protect her,
Oh yeah.
are ideas much more inspired by other magical girl stories, and in particular Sailor Moon. While Pretty Cure is a well-known franchise in Japan, and in fact airs right before Dragon Ball Super on another channel, it's not the
It
only
was?
franchise
I didn't know it was
that
before
Rebrianne
Dragon Ball
takes
Super.
inspiration from. But at the end of the day, one thing to note about a lot of these references is, by themselves, they're not inherently comedic. Audiences may recognize them, but that doesn't mean they're only included to be laughed at. Unless there is some kind of punchline to it, a reference alone...
Exactly what
isn't
Krill
a
said. They
gag,
seem cute before they
only
transform.
a reference. Most of the comedy surrounding Rebrianne doesn't come from poking fun of genre convention, but rather by her
I instantly
attitude.
dodged. It was so gross. I instantly
People
dodged.
attached to her highly animated
Yeah,
reactions.
Vegeta.
Despite all the references, Rebrianne is a Dragon Ball character first, and a magical girl second. That's why, when she transforms, she doesn't look much like a traditional magical girl at all, even if she does act like one. So prior knowledge of magical girl conventions does help explain some of Rebrianne's stranger attacks and power-ups, but it's not absolutely needed to understand.
It was kind of sad when they got like erased.
Rebrianne
The
is a
universe got erased too.
power who is magical girl inspired. But you can
There's like a certain effect. They were saying bye to the fans too before they got erased.
If you have any questions or discussion, feel free to leave a comment below. I do think this is one of those things that not everybody knows about. There's not exactly
I didn't know about that.
Shonen action series and magical girl shoujo series. But I think it is in fact that overlap that makes it incredibly interesting to talk about.
Oh yeah, I watched that meme. I didn't watch really much of magic girl anime shows like that, except with Sailor Moon.
Behind the animation of Rebrianne's transformation sequence and the first attack in episode 91.
Right, y'all, and that's the reference of comparison of how Rebrianne is like compared to her similar to her the other characters in other animes, and yeah, it's very interesting, and of how I guess the difference between fighting with love in anime shows. But yeah, it's very interesting. But anyway, what y'all think about this? Leave a like and a comment, and I'll catch you on the next video. Peace.